Reactive visibility. When your LinkedIn presence is driven by others instead of you. There's a subtle shift happening on LinkedIn, and most people don't notice it. Many professionals believe they are building a personal brand. In reality, they are responding to one. A trending post appears, a format performs well, a tone works, and gradually, visibility becomes less about initiative and more about reaction. When visibility becomes reactive visibility is not inherently negative. In fact, it often starts as a smart adaptation. Research on social learning by Albert Bandura, 1977, shows that individuals learn behaviors by observing others, especially when those behaviors are rewarded. On LinkedIn, the reward is clear: likes, comments, reach, so people adjust. They mirror high-performing structures, echo popular opinions, align tone with what gets engagement. Over time, this creates a feedback loop. Content shapes behavior, and behavior reinforces content. But something deeper happens beneath the surface. The cost of constant adaptation. What begins as strategic adaptation can gradually become dependency. Classic work on self-presentation by Irving Goffman, 1959, suggests that when individuals repeatedly perform roles for an audience, those roles can begin to influence their identity. Later research, Baumeister 1982, further indicates that self-presentation doesn't just reflect identity, it shapes it. In a LinkedIn context, this means you don't just write like what performs well, you start thinking like it. And eventually, your professional voice becomes calibrated to external signals rather than internal clarity. Initiative versus participation. There is a difference between joining a conversation and building one. Reactive visibility places you inside existing narratives. You comment on what's already trending. You create variations of proven formats. You position yourself within familiar discussions. Initiative, on the other hand, requires a different kind of risk. Introducing perspectives that are not yet validated, framing questions instead of answering them. Speaking before there is clear social proof. From a sociological perspective, this aligns with field theory by Pierre Bourdieu, 1986, where actors operate within structured environments but still compete to shape the rules of the game. Most people play within the field. Fewer attempt to redefine it. Why reactive visibility feels safer. The platform subtly encourages it. Algorithms reward familiarity. Audiences engage with what they recognize. And uncertainty carries a cost. Lower reach, fewer reactions, less validation. This creates a rational choice environment, March 1994, where professionals optimize for short-term feedback rather than long-term differentiation. The result: high activity, low distinction. Reclaiming intentional visibility. The goal is not to reject reactive behavior entirely, it is to rebalance it. A more intentional approach includes using trends as input, not as a template. Responding selectively, not reflexively, creating original framing even within familiar topics. In practice, this often means asking a different question before posting. Am I adding to this conversation or just extending it? Because visibility that is built only on reaction may grow fast, but it rarely compounds. A practical note for job seekers and professionals. This dynamic is especially relevant during job searches. Candidates often adapt their messaging to match what they believe the market wants to hear, but over-adaptation can blur positioning and reduce perceived credibility. Research on signaling in labor markets, Spence, 1973, highlights that clarity and differentiation are critical for effective signaling, not just alignment. In other words, being understandable is important. Being indistinguishable is costly. How I work with clients. In my work with professionals, I focus on building visibility that is both strategic and self-aligned. That means identifying where adaptation is useful and where it becomes limiting. Developing a clear professional voice that doesn't depend on trends. Structuring LinkedIn presence to balance reach with differentiation. The goal is not just to be seen, it's to be recognized for something specific. References: APA Style, Bandura, A. 1977. Social Learning Theory, Prentice Hall, Baumeister, R.F. 1982. A Self-Presentational View of Social Phenomena. Psychological Bulletin, 91, 1, 326. Bourdieu, P. 1986. The Forms of Capital. In J. Richardson, Edurs, Handbook of Theory and Research for the Sociology of Education. Greenwood, Goffman, E. 1959. The Presentation of Self in Everyday Life. Anchor Books. March, J.G. 1994. A Primer on Decision-Making. How Decisions Happen. Free Press. Spence, M. 1973. Job Market Signaling. The Quarterly Journal of Economics, 87 3, 355, 374.